The Pacific is an entirely different war. It's a war fought over great millions of square miles of ocean, and it was a great sea battle with terrible cataclysmic fights on these tiny islands held by the Japanese who were going to die to the man. So as we developed the tour, Steve and I said, how do we get to the Pacific? These far-flung battles, little postage stamp size, how do you get there? It wasn't as bad as we thought. We said, well, how would we start? Well, where do you start the war in the Pacific? Pearl Harbor.
On our Pacific tour, we will typically fly up to the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas. And on Tinian, we visit a number of things. Tinian was the site of a major battle at the end of the month of July 1944. Tinian was the site of a major airfield called Northfield. 4 9,000-foot runways all parallel to one another, and the ruins of that airfield, they're still there today. There was a brief period of time in 1945 where Northfield Tinian was the busiest airspace in the entire world.
Traveling with some of these Pacific veterans, particularly James Ware. James Ware was a veteran that fought Royden War, Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. When he got on Iwo Jima, I walked with him, and he stood there and he looked around and he said, you know, this was a terrible fight. And he says, I think back on it and I think of all the dead that were lying on the beaches. I didn't bat an eye at that time. He says, but now it's all coming back. So it was very emotional for him. And that magic, when you had a veteran, a lot of people were not dry-eyed when they left that.
I was born in 1930, so I was 11 years old when Pearl Harbor was bombed. And that's what, and from then on I can remember all that went down through the years. My uncle was in the Southern Pacific as an airplane mechanic.
Well, my dad served in the Pacific, and he went through 5 invasions.
Whenever I see the image of the flag raising on Mount Suribachi, February 23, 1945, to go and stand at Mount Suribachi at the spot where that flag was raised, after having walked up Mount Suribachi, because the Japanese government doesn't have a lot of vehicles on the island, and you usually end up walking up, and then to stand there and look out at the background of the scenery of Mount Suribachi and the island of Iwo Jima, and imagine this incredible air, sea, and land battle that went on, that changed both countries forever. It's a transformative experience.
It's impossible to stand there and realize what happened, to not be moved.